What is going on, you guys? Brendan Esguerra here, and today it's going to be a little bit of a vlog and me rambling. Well, I'm going to be talking about what makes a Spider-Man fan a true Spidey fan. I mean, who doesn't love Spider-Man? I do. Ever since I was a little kid, I actually loved how cool and mysterious he looked as a superhero with that red and blue costume, that spider web print pattern on the red parts of his costume, those big eye lenses, even though that I'm referring to the McFarlane version, and the fact that he has the powers of a spider. Even though, yes, I'm kind of afraid of spiders, but that doesn't mean I don't like Spider-Man. And, speaking of that, just because I don't like Spider-Man Homecoming doesn't mean I hate Spider-Man. No, I still love him. There are other depictions of Spider-Man. Well, besides, there's a new Spider-Man cartoon on Disney XD called, just simply called Spider-Man, or Marvel's Spider-Man, where it involves a much younger, more insecure Peter Parker. So, and I am going to be talking about what makes a Spider-Man fan a true Spidey fan. It's just, I really love the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I know there were a few inaccuracies and everything, but I actually did enjoy watching them, and I still think they deserve a third movie. That being The Amazing Spider-Man 3. So yes, I do love The Amazing Spider-Man, but it's not just my opinion. I mean, there might actually be more, so what I'm kind of saying is, what makes a Spider-Man fan a true Spidey fan? It's, Spidey fans who actually love The Amazing Spider-Man and how they understand how great it was. I mean, sure, with the Amazing Spider-Man films, there are those inaccuracies, such as Norman Osborn dying in the beginning of the movie, and he doesn't get to become the Green Goblin. Instead, Harry Osborn becomes the Green Goblin. And of course, Dr. Kafka was a man in the movie, but in the comics, Dr. Kafka was actually a woman. And the Lizard, Dr. Kurt Connors, was a British character in The Amazing Spider-Man. But in the comics, Dr. Kurt Connors was an American scientist. And of course, the obvious fact that Peter Parker is depicted as a skateboarding hipster rather than a nerdy character. But aside from those inaccuracies, I got over them, and I actually enjoyed watching The Amazing Spider-Man. I still think they deserve an Amazing Spider-Man 3 because, we kind of want to see what happens, after the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I know there's Spider-Man Homecoming, but even though Spider-Man Homecoming might have been a good film, it made even less money than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And yeah, I know personally I don't like what they did in Spider-Man Homecoming, but I'm not really going to get into that. It's just the reason why I kind of think people who love The Amazing Spider-Man are true Spidey fans is because aside from those inaccuracies and everything, they actually understand how great it was and that they see the world more clear. They see the world more clearer. And it also, in a way, inspired them. Yeah, I know the fan base for The Amazing Spider-Man is like very small. But there are, other Spider-Man fans out there who actually think the Amazing Spider-Man films are good. And, well, that's because I kind of think that makes them true Spidey fans. Besides, it's just, people who don't think the Amazing Spider-Man films were good. They aren't very nice people. They keep on saying a lot of negative things about it. And it's just, I kind of think people who watched the Amazing Spider-Man films and they don't think they're good, I don't really think they're true Spidey fans because they're just pessimists. While people who actually loved the Amazing Spider-Man and understood how great they were, how great those films were, well, I actually do see them as true Spidey fans because they're more optimistic. And it's much better to be more optimistic. Besides, if you're like a pessimist, nobody is gonna like you. If you're more positive and flexible, then people would accept you. Just like how a lot of teachers and others, a lot of teachers in my school actually, I actually feel accepted in my school. No matter what I do sometimes, in case I get bored in class. And also, The Amazing Spider-Man was already a reboot. It's just, with Spider-Man Homecoming, I think it came out a decade too early. Besides, Spider-Man Homecoming was released in 2017, which is 2017, 2016, 2015, just a mere 3 years after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and even though The Amazing Spider-Man was already a reboot. Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man was already a reboot. And I thought it was already good. The costumes in both The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 actually looked good and even better than the original Tobey Maguire costume, in which they improved. But with Spider-Man Homecoming and Civil War, I kind of think they failed. Just look at the costume in Homecoming and compare it to the ones in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Obviously, the ones in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 were better. Since, The Amazing Spider-Man films were more realistic and, a bit more realistic, and, the suit wasn't too wacky and ridiculous, because it didn't have the arc reactors, those goofy animated eye lenses, and those web wings, which in the comics never served any purpose. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko just put him there because they thought it looked cool and it was just for decoration, and that was like in the 60s. In the 60s, you weren't a superhero unless you had a cape. Superman had his big red cape, and Batman had his bat-winged fringed cape. And they decided to give Spider-Man those web wings, but soon after, they actually thought Spider-Man looked better without the web wings because spiders can't fly. And Spider-Man does not fly. He swings from webs, climbs on walls, and shoots webs. Not to mention he also jumps very high, has spider-like reflexes, and is quite athletic, and he uses a lot of acrobatic moves in fighting. It's just when it comes to making a Spider-Man suit, less is more. At least that's what Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker did. Because in The Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker was still kind of a nerd. He's still smart, and he actually made his own Spidey suit. Whereas in Spider-Man Homecoming, it seemed like Tom Holland's Peter Parker, well, couldn't even make his own suit, and when he did, he only made it out of a bunch of random red and blue clothing that he just got from a thrift store. And Spider-Man, well, in the comics, Spider-Man doesn't make his costumes like that. He always used like red and blue fabric. And of course the eye lenses are real eye lenses, and there are also some foot soles, and of course his web shooters. Yeah, he just needs those. No web wings, no arc reactors, less is more. And, because I'm a true Spidey fan, well, I know sometimes maybe you don't have to be a true Spidey fan to be a Spidey fan at all. You could be like a Spider-Man fan anyway. And no matter if it's a true Spidey fan or Spidey fan in general, what also makes a true Spidey fan is, to be nice, optimistic, and flexible. And I'm not really the guy who is kind of ruthless and roasts anyone, defending the Amazing Spider-Man films. I just have strong opinions and well, I'm not really like that. I'm trying to be more positive, flexible, and optimistic. And not just because I love The Amazing Spider-Man and how I understand how great it actually was, and my views, on why I like Spider-Man might be a bit different than anyone else. Well, it kind of makes Spidey fans like me more unique. And also, The Amazing Spider-Man is actually what made me do action figure customization. My first customs were actually like a Marvel Legends, a custom Marvel Legends Infinite Series Amazing Spider-Man 3 wave, which even had a Venom the Madness Build-A-Figure. I had to go as far to make a Venom the Madness Build-A-Figure. And it's going to be kind of a common theme with some of my custom action figures, and not all of them have to be like Marvel. Some of them can also be like for DC, for example, with the Collecting Connect, and maybe some non-Marvel or DC properties or projects. And I'm also thinking about doing some customs of original superheroes, not based on anything from DC or Marvel. And also not, any other superheroes who are not from DC and Marvel, but instead my own original ideas, and yes, there could be a Build-A-Figure. Yeah, but apart from all that, that's pretty much how I see what a true Spidey fan is like. So pretty much I kind of see a true Spidey fan as a person who actually loves the Amazing Spider-Man and understood how great it was, because they're more positive, flexible, and more optimistic. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been Brendan Esguerra signing off. Until then, have an awesome day and I hope you like it. This has been Brendan Esguerra signing off. Peace out.